Honda dealers. Visit UtahHondaDealers.com.
Storm system is clearing out, but temperatures are going to drop even lower tonight. How low we go and how long this cold blast lasts in my forecast.
I know during the wintertime this year it's going to be really hard to get to bed and stay inside.
Plus, as the cold settles in, many are struggling to find shelter. The latest hurdle to overcome when trying to find a warm space for the most vulnerable.
How dangerous is vaping and what needs to be done?
Look, no more of these candy flavors that are so attractive to kids.
Senator Mitt Romney's plea to doctors and the two major products they focused on.
A bill that would more closely regulate adoption stalled out on Utah's Capitol Hill. Now in the wake of a major adoption fraud scheme, why some hope lawmakers will change their tune.
Leading the way in diversity, one firefighter at a time. We'll tell you how Salt Lake City Fire is making it happen.
Live from Fox 13 Studios, this is Fox 13's Live at 5.
You know it, you feel it. It has been a chilly day, no matter where you are along the Wasatch Front. So cold, in fact, that we are now in the running for the coldest high daytime temperature on record for this particular date, October 10th. We even saw snow in some parts of Tooele County earlier this morning.
That's right, and these uncharacteristically cold temperatures aren't going anywhere for right now. Fox 13 Chief Meteorologist Kristen Van Dyke.
Oh no, in fact tonight's going to be even colder than it was this morning, and the National Weather Service, they launched these weather balloons. They do it daily, and they launched one this morning, and when it sampled the air mass over us in the Salt Lake Valley, they found that it was the coldest air mass sample for this date on record. So you know it is cold out there. Our morning lows this morning, we dropped to 18 in Logan, 25 in Ogden, and then right around 30 for Salt Lake and Provo. If it weren't for some of the leftover cloud cover from some of the lake effect snow that developed, our temperatures would have been down into the 20s this morning across parts of the valleys. And then we had lows in the teens and 20s down south, but it's going to get a lot colder down in southern Utah too. In fact, just compared to yesterday, temperatures are a good 5 to 6 degrees cooler in northern Utah. Yesterday was very chilly, but southern Utah feeling that cold with temperatures anywhere from 25 to almost 30 degrees colder just today. We are currently in the low 40s, but with wind chills, it feels like it's in the 30s with that breeze. Down in southern Utah, 40s and 50s in most everywhere. And then St. George, only at 62 degrees right now. So record lows are in jeopardy. So here's a look at what we're looking at for Friday morning. Temperatures right around 27 is the record low that was set back in 1946. Remember, our normal low is 43. We haven't even seen that yet today, but our forecast is calling for temperatures in the mid-20s for the Salt Lake area and even colder in some other spots. So record lows likely. I'll let you know how low those temperatures drop in my full forecast coming up in a few minutes.
All right, Kristen, thank you. One day after learning about Utah's first vaping-related death, community leaders are trying to figure out what's next. Today, Utah Senator Mitt Romney asked local doctors and policymakers to discuss the dangers of vaping and what needs to be done. Fox 13's Sydney Glenn is at Primary Children's Hospital this afternoon. Sydney, you were there for the roundtable discussion. What are the takeaways?
The two big topics here today were the flavored vaping products as well as that unregulated THC that we keep hearing so much about.
I've seen a patient every day this week.
A patient who ended up in a hospital bed because of vaping.
When you see young people getting super sick, getting into the ICU, landing on life support, what's going on? What's happening?
Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Good morning.
That question on many people's mind, including Senator Mitt Romney. That's why he says he wants things to change.
Look, no more of these candy flavors that are so attractive to kids. If adults want to use vaping products, then let them have the normal flavor of tobacco.
That doesn't sit well with the owner of Park City Vapor Company, who calls this idea irresponsible.
If you eliminate flavors, you're going to see those individuals go back to traditional cigarettes.
Now, which one is worse for you? Depends on who you talk to. Here's what we know. There have been more than 70 cases of vaping-related illnesses reported here in Utah. More than 90% of those patients admitted to using unregulated THC. That's Bo Maxon's argument.
We cannot group nicotine-based vapor in the same category as black market illegal THC products that have been diluted with vitamin E acetate.
But healthcare providers and Senator Romney argued today there just isn't enough research. And just look at this x-ray. This is a vaping patient.
Over 24, 48 hours, they can go from breathing what we call room air, breathing the regular oxygen in the air, to maybe even on the ventilator.
No matter the side, everyone here agrees they need to find a way to keep vapors from ending up in a hospital bed. So what can be done? Senator Romney says after this roundtable, he plans to go back to the CDC, the FDA, and his fellow lawmakers to make some sort of plan. What he does know right now is he definitely wants to get those flavored vaping products off of the shelves and really get a handle on this unregulated THC here in Utah. Live in Salt Lake City, Cindy Glenn, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Right now, a man and woman are behind bars accused of stealing mail in Taylorsville, Kearns, and West Valley City. Unified Police say Jose Luis Castillo and Brittany Hernandez were caught early yesterday morning, all thanks to a tip from a neighbor. Officers caught the two after a chase and found stolen mail, Social Security cards, also bank cards and statements, checks, and a whole lot more.
Oh yeah, this was a big deal. I mean, we're talking hundreds of homes that are potential victims. We have right now over 18 confirmed cases of mail theft.
Detectives say the two are a flight risk as well as a danger to the community. They don't want them released before trial. They also have a lot of recovered mail, so if you are missing any, please call Unified Police.
With colder temperatures, even colder tonight, homeless shelters are starting to fill up across the Salt Lake Valley.
One of the big questions is if there will be enough room and where for everyone who's going to need it this winter. Fox 13's Adam Herbets is live at the road home with a look forward. Adam, what did you find out?
Well, Bob Kelly, last night during our mayoral debate here on Fox 13, both candidates said they were concerned with how things might look this winter for our homeless population. Moving forward, this shelter is supposed to be replaced by 3 smaller shelters, but if those fill up, this might be the alternative. On the coldest day of the season so far, the soup kitchen does what it can. Today, there are no warm meals, but tonight, these mats will feel better than the cold ground outside.
It's very, very basic accommodations. We're talking about mats on floors.
I just don't really enjoy staying inside. I'm more of an outside kind of guy.
Even in the cold?
Yep. Stay outside all year round.
He might not take advantage of the beds or mats available, but he is worried about his friends who do, that this might be the only option.
I know this one gets full when it gets cold, but not a lot of them can handle being outside this time of year.
By the end of the year, about 700 beds at this downtown shelter will be gone, replaced by 3 other smaller shelters. One of them still is not finished.
We'll serve 300 men exclusively. These are very good facilities. These are brand new.
Matt Minkovich, executive director of the Road Home, says the new shelter will have more resources to get people into affordable housing. He understands sleeping on the floor is not ideal, but he hopes that stays a last resort.
Each winter, we expect there to be an increase in demand for emergency shelter. It's always important for us to be prepared to accommodate anyone who turns to us.
The executive director here at the Road Home says he expects the new shelter to be fully open and operational by the end of November. In the meantime, this shelter will remain open. We're live in downtown Salt Lake City. Adam Herbets, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Still to come, you've heard about the adoption scheme centered here in Utah. We'll show you how lawmakers might have been able to stop it before it even started.
And a crash in Sandy this morning left a major mess right in front of a church parking lot. Hear from the driver's wife after it just happened.
Catch Booming Forward on Fox 13's Live at 4.
Introducing the Papa John's 4-6-8 deals. Pick the size you love and topping you love at the price that you'll love just as much. The 4-6-8 deals. Papa's quality at a better value. Only at Papa John's.
Sugar House Furniture has been providing high-quality craftsman furniture for 34 years. Right now, this solid oak dining set is only $15.99. Plus, all solid wood entertainment centers are on sale. Sugar House Furniture, Utah's Mission Furniture Specialists on Highland Drive.
Some see an obstacle. But when you have best-in-class all-weather capability, It's just another opportunity. Jeep Cherokee. Hurry in to Jeep Adventure Days for a great deal.
Get $6,500 total cash allowance on select 2019 Jeep Cherokee Latitude Plus models in dealer stock the longest.
You're watching Fox 13 News. Let's connect.
In the wake of criminal charges in a major adoption fraud case, the Utah legislature may revisit a bill that would have put more regulations in place.
Fox 13's Ben Winslow is live on Utah's Capitol Hill. Now, Ben, the bill's sponsor says it could have prevented situations like we're seeing now.
Yeah, the bill originally would have required those who facilitate adoptions, be they lawyers, social workers, or whatever else, to be regulated by the state. But it didn't get very far up here on the Hill.
Given Mr. Peterson's status, Mr. Peterson has never been arrested.
Paul Peterson appeared before a Phoenix judge on fraud charges, asking to be released on his own recognizance.
There is zero risk of flight.
The judge refused. Peterson is also facing federal charges in Arkansas and charges of human smuggling and sale of a child in Utah. Peterson will eventually be brought here to face charges leveled by the Utah Attorney General's office. He's accused of bringing pregnant women from the Marshall Islands to Salt Lake City to give birth in violation of international compacts. Authorities say he charged adoptive families up to $40,000.
There's a lot of gaps in our statute that allow, I think, for some unethical practices, which now we're seeing one of them.
Senator Luz Escamilla tried to run a bill to regulate what are known as adoption facilitators, people who get paid to deal with private adoptions. Adoption agencies are already regulated. But she says she got a lot of pushback from people involved, including associates of Paul Peterson.
This name came up in some of those conversations, so it was not an unknown. I mean, he's very well known in the state of Utah.
Utah's Department of Human Services tells Fox 13 it supported Senator Escamilla's bill. She says lawmakers who initially opposed it may now be changing their minds.
I think there has to be some standards that we agree as a state that we want to see people getting involved in something so special, so delicate as it is the process of adoption, because you're not only dealing with the precious life of a child, but you also have the biological parents involved and the adopted parents.
Now, an attorney who serves as the Standards and Practices Chair for the Utah Adoption Council, that's a nonprofit volunteer group that advocates for adoption, he says he has concerns that the bill is too broad and captures legitimate efforts adoptive parents make to find a child to adopt. He says that state law that is already in place is working, as is evidenced by this latest case. Live on the Hill, Ben Winslow, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Ben, thanks. Stay with Fox 13 News as we continue to track this story. We're going to look at what's next for the expectant mothers who are still right now in Utah. That's tonight after the NFL game.
Utah Senator Mitt Romney is speaking publicly for the first time after President Trump's vulgar comments about him last weekend. The president responded with the coarse language after Senator Romney released a statement critical of the president's push for China and Ukraine to investigate former Vice President Joe Biden. Today, Senator Romney essentially brushed off the issue.
First of all, I don't follow the president on Twitter, so I don't see all of his tweets. But secondly, you know, in my business, if you got concerned about criticism, you'd be in the wrong business.
When asked about backing the House impeachment inquiry or removing the president from office, Senator Romney said he would wait on a decision on both until the House sends articles of impeachment to the Senate.
The Utah Supreme Court is ordering the Attorney General's office to weigh in on a case of transgender birth certificates. Sean Childers Gray and Angie Rice were granted legal name changes but were not permitted to change the M or F for their sex. That was on their birth certificates as well, but now some judges say they do grant that change, however, others do not. The state originally stayed out of it. Now the High Court wants the Attorney Generals to take on whether to grant gender marker changes in light of other pro-LGBT rulings.
Still ahead on Fox 13 News Live at 5, Salt Lake City Fire is looking to expand in a big way. See what firefighters are looking to do differently this time in today's Growing Utah.
Lower tonight. Freeze warning still in effect for the Wasatch Front, and we also have freeze warnings down towards Moab, San Juan County, Castle Country, everywhere highlighted here. How low those temperatures officially drop in your weekend forecast next.
'cause it rocks.